Good evening, welcome back to my little gardening show. I thought I'd give you a little update on the garden. We haven't been able to make, I've made videos, just haven't been able to edit them and stuff like that because we've been super busy. So let's just pan out to the garden here. Alright, so as you can see, we've got all these stakes here. What we decided to do this year was plan out the garden. We've got each bed staked out. Each one of these beds is about 19 foot long. We planned out what we were going to plant, like right here is peas. But we got everything kind of out. What we wanted to do is we wanted to make sure there was plenty of room to walk around the garden, to water, weed. We wanted it to be more enjoyable, not a bunch of work, right? Yep. So having it laid out like this makes it a lot easier to access things. We've got 8 beds up front. We can walk in here real quick. Kind of survey the garden. So we got 8 beds. We got 4 off here on the left as you go in. We got 4 out here to the right, and I believe we've got 10 beds in the back. Or we basically took out 2 beds here in the middle so that people can come in, look around. We can get tools in here. We try to keep about a 3-foot path around the perimeter of the garden. It's not quite 3 foot in some places because the garden isn't exactly square. The paths, there's about 2 feet walking paths.
1 foot? 2 foot?
2 foot walking paths to get around. Let's take them over here. So here, I'm gonna grab your camera and you tell us what's in each bed. You know what's each bed, Olivia?
Yes. So welcome to the Shenanigans with Sis gardening tour.
Okay.
Okay.
So what's over here, child?
In this first bed, we have butter crunch lettuce.
Butter crunch?
In the second bed, we have...
It's a red lettuce.
Red lettuce.
Now, how did we plant that? Did we plant rows? Did we just throw the seed in?
We just basically... We didn't really plant rows, and we didn't just, like, toss it out. We kind of went through and, like, just sprinkled some in, the row.
Yeah, you can see all those sprouts. Now, the reason why we did that is because we're going to get a lot more lettuce out of this row doing it just kind of loosely than individual plants, right?
And once we
be easier to
harvest
harvest.
a couple times, we're going to just like take it all out and plant some new stuff because once it gets old, it doesn't really do
Yeah, once it grows so much, you get more of that crown and it turns bitter.
Okay.
What's in this row?
So in the second and third row, we have our...
This is kale.
This is the purple kale.
This is Ragged Jack kale.
Yeah. Then we have...
It's our lacinato kale.
Lacinato kale.
Well, hey, one thing we want to point out,
The leek.
it's interesting. This tells you how important nutrition is for the plant. So we're using the Mittlighter gardening method. We put down some garden lime, the pre-plant mix. It has some boron, garden lime, I think Epsom salt.
Yeah.
And then this week we put down the weekly feed that's got the triple 15 and the micro minerals and the Epsom salt.
Yeah.
But this leaf was kind of bleached out, and I mean everything was looking real ragged. But as you can see, the color is actually coming back into the leaf.
And there's some new sprouts too.
And there's new growth coming out, which is that's a real good sign that everything's starting to take root. Same with the Ragged Jack.
And I believe this row is cabbage. This is our regular cabbage that we usually grow every year.
Yeah.
And then that's our purple cabbage that we usually grow every year.
Yeah, so again, when we planted this stuff last weekend?
Yeah, last weekend.
In the first 2 days, it was looking real rough. I didn't know if it was going to make it or not. But again, it's kind of making a comeback. It's adjusted.
It's growing new leaves also.
Growing new leaves, so it's looking real good.
And then if you go down, I believe we have, is this Kohlrabi or...
This is our Kohlrabi patch.
This is Kohlrabi. Is this purple Kohlrabi?
This is purple Kohlrabi, yep.
Ooh, that sounds tasty. Now, on the other side, we have nothing here because we're going to plant Brussels sprouts on this side of the bed.
Yep.
And then on that side is...
This is broccoli.
Ooh, broccoli. Ooh. And then we have our sort of unplanned garlic path.
Yeah, we got a couple sheets of garlic that made it. We had a row of garlic planted here, and really Most of it did not survive the winter, but we had 2 that did, so we've left them in place here.
How long does it take to grow garlic?
Takes about a year.
Yeah. So it's very
9 months.
very time consuming. Well, not really.
So what are in these beds?
So in these beds, there's red onions and white onions in both of these.
Yeah, our sets from Dixondale Farms.
Yep. Half is red, half is white. This is mostly white and maybe a few.
Well, they're
red.
yellow. It's yellow and red.
Yellow.
Yep. Now, those onion sets, because of how the weather was this year, we were about 3 weeks late getting them into the ground. They did okay. I just kept them in trays, made sure they were aerated and they were okay. But it would have been better if I could have gotten them right about the time I was going to plant them, because they looked a lot fresher. They still look rough, but it looks like they're taking root. We'll find out.
Anyway, back to the gardening tour. I don't know what's in this bed. Is this radishes?
This is carrots.
Oh, carrots.
We did the Danvers half long. They're a stubbier carrot, because this isn't cultivated real deep. We set the tiller about 3 inches down, and we broad forked. That's the other thing we did too, didn't we? We broad forked all these beds about 18 inches down to lift the soil, and then we tilled the top 3 inches or so. Did kind of a double take, and we mounded it up and leveled it off. These are potatoes.
Potatoes.
We got 2 rows of Yukon Gold and 2 rows of Kennebec this year.
Are Kennebec the red ones, or?
No, we didn't do our reds this year.
Oh, I don't really like the red ones.
What?
Well, I noticed when we harvest them, when you scrub them, the
skin kind of came off. Yeah, it was a little
easier.
Yeah.
And the smaller potatoes are usually the size of my eyeball.
Yeah.
So.
What's in this bed here? That's like.
This is nothing right now, I don't think.
What's gonna be here?
Hot peppers.
Hot peppers, loving that.
Which, as you may have watched some of our very previous videos, I think we might have mentioned that one year we had hot tomatoes.
Yeah.
And we were planning on putting the hot peppers far away from the tomatoes, but obviously that did not happen. So
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
What's in this row?
This row is peas.
Peas, yeah. We planted those last weekend. Nothing sprouted yet. Hey, what about over here? What's in these 2 rows?
This row. Are those rad? No, those aren't.
Those are going to be where our sweet peppers are, our bell peppers and stuff. We don't have anything in the ground yet.
No.
What about here?
This is radishes.
Yep, these are radishes. Oh, and there's some sprouts. Let's zoom in on that. Look at that.
Little tiny baby
Looking
sprouts.
good. All right, let's take them over here to this other side here. I'm going to talk real quick. So, we kind of divided the garden up, and then we got a big walking path right here where this gate is. Again, we wanted more access, so we got another big gate that we put in, kind of.
We're gonna paint the pole, according to Grandpa, a chickweed green color.
A chickweed green color.
I guess. I don't know.
So we got about a 5-foot path right here. 6 foot. It's probably more like 6 foot if you go all the way to trellis. But the plan this year with the tomatoes is that we're gonna cultivate this side of the trellis, the south side, and plant them to the south of the trellis on this side.
So that they don't grow into the walking path in between.
Yeah, last year we tried to plant them. We planted them on both sides on the inside, and that was kind of a mistake because it's just ended up being this big garbled mess. But we're going to plant them to the south here and to the north over here, and then train them up as they grow into the trellis, and maybe try to prune a little bit this year.
Yeah, it's prune.
We're trying to.
Roma tomatoes.
Yeah, so we're going to try to put. We're actually doing San Marzano this year. We're gonna put some straw down here. I took we got the Haas tool. I put the implement on there to weed. It's basically a scuffle implement. Went down here and broke all these loose. So hopefully they'll. If not, we'll go through and we'll pull this stuff out. Some of it's gonna still take root.
But if you check out the tomato area, we just planted these tonight. Probably be a couple days when this video is posted.
Yeah. So.
But
how many rows do we have here?
We have 8 rows of green beans.
How many rows total, though?
12.
11.
11.
Yeah, it's kind of an odd number. So we got 11 rows we cultivated. Again, kind of like we did on this side, except these are oriented this way because we're going to be going in with the hose. It's just going to be a little easier to maintain. We did double rows. These are probably about 20-foot rows, maybe a little bit longer. I'll have to measure them out. But anyway, we did double rows of green beans for each one using our earthway seeder. That worked out perfect. Again, we tilled this up and then took a garden rake and mounted it up and leveled it off. And then I was able to run this down here twice. Yeah, there's an extra one that was in the row. These are Jade 2. These are an awesome, very, like, really nice, clean, like, gourmet green bean.
Yes.
Doesn't have the string in them.
And it doesn't have, like, when you go to pick them, it's not spiky.
Yeah, the plants are a little easier to harvest too. So double rows, again, 2-foot paths between each row to make it easy to get through and to harvest.
So if we, basically all of the rows that are inside the rows, there's 16 of those.
Yeah, if you count everything. But we've got about a 2-foot walking path at the end where we didn't go all the way to the fence. We got about a 3-foot path on each side. Again, the goal, because undoubtedly this grass is going to creep in and we're going to have to weed this. If this is all garden, we wouldn't have, it would just be a pain to weed. Having it how it is, we'll be able to run the Hoss tool through here, weed eater, whatever we got to do to keep the weeds down. The other thing we're going to do is get some scuff hose. We've got a couple scuff hose, I think enough for everybody in hose, but every time we come out to the garden, we're just going to do a little bit at a time, right? A little bit at a time. That's really the key to keeping up with something like this. So you excited, child? Oh, come on, child. It's gardening season.
Food.
Yeah.
Not so much as the work.
Oh, you know what? We didn't show them the kids' garden. You want to go over there real quick?
Oh, or the lima beans.
All right, let's go walk over where the lima beans are going to be. So, in honor of Dad, we've tried to grow lima beans the last 2 years in a row. We thought we had planted them in time last year, and we didn't. They ended up, I mean, they were so close, and then the frost got them. But we've reserved 3 rows for the lima beans. I should get the seed this week. There's Ruthie waving to us. And we're going to try to get these planted out. Should be plenty, and we have plenty of time this year, right?
Yep.
All right, let's go to the kids' garden.
Okay.
All right, so we're over on the far south side of the garden. This kind of extension we put on last year, right?
Yep.
This is a kid's garden. They've got a lot of weeding to do. We got some spinach that survived the winter and came back.
Spinach.
Yeah, volunteer spinach. And we've got an area over here with the rhubarb where our perennials are going to be. We may do some asparagus at some point. But what's the plan? What are you guys going to plant in here?
Okay. So on that pretty fence, we're going to plant blue morning glories. And then over here, we're going to plant sunflowers. And then, like, about halfway, we're going to plant sunflowers. Then the other half is going to be, I think, watermelon. Then, past the morning glories over here is going to be a hummingbird mix. And then maybe, Sammy and Taylor want to plant sweet peppers. But
we're not doing that.
we want to make it nice and pretty. But
We're going to do some melons in here, Tigger melon. I think, and my seeds are, I found some seeds. They're from 2014, the fall of 2014 before we moved over to Ohio. I still had some. We'll see if they're viable. I planted a whole bunch. We'll see if any sprout.
Tigger melon is the best.
You like Tigger melon. There's one, it's called Kazakh, that I'm growing this year. It's kind of like it, a little bit bigger. So yeah, the plan is to let them do some flowers and stuff like that, but then we're also going to be doing cucumbers, melon, watermelon, all kinds of stuff. We may experiment with trellising that stuff this year because the vines go crazy. I'm really hoping we can get it going before the squash bugs come, because they will destroy all of that stuff, or the squash vine borer. That's another pest. So we're gonna study up on maybe some ways we can try to control that
Without hurting the plant.
Yeah.
Or spraying the plant.
And then we got this space over here, which again, it's going to be more vining plants that we'll have over there. The spiky stuff like zucchini and squash, because like the bunny rabbits, they don't like that stuff. We actually don't have to have that stuff fenced in, and they'll leave it alone because it's spiky. It's not They like the kind of the little tender greens like lettuce
And they're green.
and stuff like that. So, our rhubarb, you can see back over there, the flower stalks. What we're going to do is cut those out this year. We don't want it to go to seed. We want it to focus the energy in the other shoots so we can harvest some rhubarb.
Make rhubarb
Maybe some
pie.
rhubarb pie, 'cause we usually pick strawberries in June.
Strawberry rhubarb pie is the best.
Next month. So, all right, well, we're going to get out of here. Everybody's tired. They've been working.
We're gonna have Chinese food for dinner.
We're going to do something. So I guess that's it for now. Until next time. Happy gardening. Bye.